Going live, and we are live. Look at that. We're here for it's Super Bowl week, boys. We took a week off last week thanks to having the Pro Bowl in between conference championship weekend and our Super Bowl week here, and that doesn't need any analysis.
Just to be clear, we weren't spending that week off watching the Pro Bowl.
No, that game needs no analysis and is not worth anyone's time. So it was a nice week off, I'd say.
I feel like they shouldn't even have pro in the title because that infers some sort of positive connotation. So it should be called the Con Bowl.
Just call it the bowl.
Yeah, that's good.
Just the bowl.
Oh, man. But anyway, so this is where we are. We're left with the final week of the not regular season, of the NFL season in general. And I got to say, we're left with the two teams that I think everyone is sort of just ho-hum on. Like, oh, yeah, it's them. It's, it's
Whoa, that's not,
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Who would you not have been ho-hum about?
Let's see. A Colts and Packers matchup, anyone would have been happy with, I think.
I'd be fine with Patriots Packers. I'd rather see the Packers in there than the Seahawks, but
I don't know. It's just sort of, it feels like that. Like we expected this. There's nothing.
The defending champs versus a dirty bunch of cheaters trying to hold on to that brass thing for a little longer.
It's two teams that people outside of their respective fan bases, I don't know. They're not really regarded. Not that they're not regarded highly, like they're great franchises, but they're not like the most likable teams, I don't think.
I disagree about Seattle. What do people have wrong with Seattle, Ralph?
Sherman and Lynch are really unlikable.
Sherman and the entire defense, always hopping around, and I don't know. I just don't like them.
Sherman and Lynch are more public figures than Russell Wilson at this point. It's ridiculous. Russell Wilson is a footnote in the media frenzy leading up to this game.
Yeah,
no one's even mentioned him. Poor Russell Wilson.
The only thing that they mention is his meager salary of $800,000. And they're like, wow, they're certainly getting a bargain. Like, you think Russell Wilson's watching that and just shaking his fist?
Ridiculous.
It's crazy. I will say though, having watched Media Day, everything that happened, I don't know that Lynch is necessarily unlikable. I think he's.
Oh man.
I don't know that he might be the only person he's unlikable to is Roger Goodell, in my opinion, and everyone in the league office. I don't like him.
I'm the opposite. All of you guys. I like the Patriots, and I don't like Marshawn Lynch.
I think because you work for the man. Okay, of course you can't say that, but. No, I mean, honestly, so I feel like his act is wearing a little thin this year. Like, last year, it was great. It was like, oh, yeah, anti-establishment, anti-media, anti-everything. Why should he have to be forced and paraded out? And if he does that, then he's going to make a mockery out of it, just like it's a mockery that he should have to do it in the first place. But now it's like, okay, yeah, you did this last year. You've given one-word answers over and over. It's old, Marshawn. Get over it, man.
But did you see the commercials? Did you see the commercials?
The Skittles ones was amazing.
The Skittles commercial, and the Kenny Mayne doing the interview commercial for Progressive, both getting released on Media Day. It was perfect.
I didn't see him yet.
Oh, go watch them. Go to Fully Covered Sports. Shameless plug.
I'll go there.
Both are posted on there. I love everything about him. I don't know. I love that he's continuing it's not an act. It's who he is. So I have nothing wrong with it.
I'm gonna chime in and sound like a generic hashtag hot sports take reporter. Use the one adjective that always comes out in this situation. I think he's a hypocrite. And the reason why is I get the whole thing with the media and not wanting to talk with them. That's fair enough. But he has to understand where his money's coming from. To a certain level, media coverage drives interest in the sport. And the problem I have is he'll not talk to the media, but he'll wear out his merchandise and try to draw up interest in his clothing line. So he's I'm above shelling out to the man, and he'll come parading out with his Marshawn Beast Mode hat.
Well, let's be real. He's got to find money somewhere to pay for all these fines that he's incurring. So whether
he's
it's
following the letter of the law, he hasn't gotten fined yet.
Well, the hat. He wore the hat, so the incorrect hat. So I'm sure something's going to come down for that. But
he can advertise his brand, but he can't advertise the NFL's brand. That's kind of the issue I have.
It seems like these are lame. Like it seems like they're piling on a little bit, and they're lame fines and they're lame rules. And sure, they probably are lame rules, but the rules are the rules, and the NFL has a lot of lame rules.
Aren't you a those? Didn't he say he likes the Patriots? So he's gonna start.
Yeah, he's gonna start talking. That's you know what? Talk about transition.
Insert foot.
No, it's. I mean, I don't condone Spygate or anything, but I like the Patriots.
I'm not sure why.
Always toying around with the rules, and we're not talking about media rules. We're talking about actual in-game rules.
Integrity of the game rules.
Sure, but you gotta. Yeah. I mean, those require proof. We're getting back to proof in the conversation we had off camera. But those require proof. I mean, you don't need any proof that Marshawn Lynch is breaking the rules. He's doing it on camera. You can clearly see. Like the others, you need to be. They need to be found guilty before they're.
We did hear, sometime this week that the NFL has a video. They have video of the ball boy walking around with the balls.
The problem is Goodell will never see that video.
I know that's it'll be interesting to see if the NFL actually someone in the league's office views the video and what sort of happens there. But the evidence is in the weight of the ball, right? They were light.
Yeah.
They were light.
The evidence.
Let's be mature about this as we talk about this. By the way, talking about balls.
Max, you want to talk about empirical evidence? We had a top member of the scientific community weigh in on this, and he flat out called Bill Belichick a liar, and that was one William Nye, the science guy. So, I mean, I don't know what kind of proof you're waiting for, but
I think the NFL obviously is going to have final say. Yesterday or earlier today, depending on when you're watching this, on Wednesday. They did reach out to Columbia, and they want someone from their physics department to come in and talk about, gas pressure and what could have really happened. Like, could it have happened the way Bill described it, Bill Belichick? The air pressure dropping because let's be real. Because when I first heard about all this, my initial thought was, they're taking the PSI inside a temperature-controlled room, and if you think about a tire, like your tires on your car. They lose air in the winter. They get lighter.
Yeah.
So if you're taking the PSI, this is getting way too sciencey now. But if you're taking the PSI in a temperature-controlled room and you go 2.5 hours later, bring the ball outside and start playing in temperatures that are 30, 40 degrees cooler, isn't the ball going to lose air pressure?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, what exactly did Bill Nye say? He said that's not possible.
What it has to do is this. Good.
He said rubbing the ball can't affect the PSI, which I guess Belichick talked about that, how they break in the footballs and they rub them with, tackiness and Some guys like them slim, some guys like them round, some guys like them tacky. I don't know.
Yeah, you guys are saying that I'm sympathetic towards the Patriots, and I don't think they should be fined just because I like them. That's not true. I think they should be fined, and I think they should be penalized harshly because of the repeated behavior of the organization. But I still like the Patriots.
You said that you hated Marshawn Lynch because of his.
I don't hate Marshawn Lynch.
Okay. Oh, jeez. You dislike Marshawn Lynch.
Strong word.
You dislike Marshawn Lynch because of his, antics that he does, and because he breaks the media rules and such. And the Patriots break even harsher rules, and you're just like, give them a penalty. Who cares? I still like them. They're still a great team. Well, maybe the reason why they're a great team is because they like to break so many dang rules.
So geez, now we can get into the meat of this argument. That they could be breaking rules, but do you think that mattered at all? That matters at all in the game? You really think that's why they win?
Not in that game.
You really think that?
Before we get
all right, we don't know everything that goes behind closed doors. So just focus on this one issue that's out there right now. If the only thing that the Patriots are guilty of right now this season is deflating balls, do you think that that's helping them win games? Do you think that's the reason they're in the Super Bowl?
I don't
Why
want.
does it have to be black and white? Like, oh yeah, does it contribute? Yeah, absolutely.
I don't think it contributes at all. I don't think it matters at all. It's not going to help them throw the ball more accurately.
I have an opinion on this.
Yes, it does. What are you talking about? Yes, it does. It does help them. It does all that stuff.
No, let's think of a straw poll first. Where does everyone stand on this? Like, do we think they did it? Do you think it was they knew the balls are deflated by someone and they knew about it? The balls were deflated by someone and they don't know about it, or Mother Nature just had to interfere with the balls?
It's the strangest story, man.
It really is.
I don't know what to. I honestly don't know. I don't know what to believe.
I think they knew about it, but I don't think it's a big deal.
For the first week, I was convinced that it was the weather. And the more it gets covered and just the more ridiculous it sounds, I feel like I'm going the opposite way, and I'm starting to think that, yeah, they did know something. Whether it was all the way up to Belichick or whether it was just Brady and working with the ball boy, I don't know. But
I think Brady and Belichick knew about it. I think the press conferences were so awkward because they figured it wouldn't be that big of a deal, and all of a sudden this is like.
Because it's Super Bowl week.
They're getting suspended for a year or something. Like, they just got out of control fast.
How much stock is everyone putting in that absolutely absurd fumble statistic that got thrown out there? Did everyone see that?
I heard about it, but I haven't seen the actual stat.
So I think the average per fumbles per touch for like the typical NFL player was like one for every 700 touches. I don't know, something like that. And the team average for the Patriots was like double that. It was like one for every 1,500 touches.
I heard there was like a home road split. Is that true? Like their fumble numbers are way better at home than they are on the road.
I
think that's coincidental, but it really doesn't help their argument.
Yeah. No, not at all. But
yeah, I mean that could be coincidental. I mean that doesn't really. I mean. The funny thing about stats is you can find any kind of stat to support
your argument. But the other
funny thing joke. 8 out of 10 people know that.
Yeah. But the funny thing about it is, if you think about when someone fumbles on the Patriots, they end up getting benched for the rest of the season. So I don't know how much. If you want to throw that argument out, I think that's a fair way to do it. But
teams always skirt the system. I'll try to reestablish my non-homer credibility by saying like the Steelers kind of deliberately don't let their field, they don't like tend to their field during the season, especially when it gets colder, and I feel like that gives them a home field advantage. Like teams find these little edges. I don't think they're like blatantly illegal, and I don't think making the ball a little squishier than it normally would be is like the end of the world.
Right.
They didn't defeat the situation very well.
Right. Totally this is an issue because it's the Patriots.
Yeah. Well, no, it's an issue because it's the Super Bowl, and they didn't contain it like anyone else.
They're like the kid that always did well and found a way to sort of skirt the system, but they can't hide it. Like they're too good that they can't. I don't know. They're not good at. They're too good for themselves, almost, if that makes sense. I don't know.
Actually, you know what? I take that back. It is a lot because of the Patriots, and it's also because they got a borderline free pass on Spygate, which should have been a way bigger deal than it ultimately ended up being. Like, I know it was a big story.
That damn Lombardi needs to be moved out of their locker room and brought over to that city of brotherly love.
What was the punishment?
$500,000 fine. $500,000 fine for Belichick.
Yeah.
And $250,000 for the organization. So it was like $750,000 total, and then they lost their first.
They lost a good pick, either first or second.
Their first round pick.
Mm.
So
that's pretty harsh.
I would have traded all that.
Like that definitely could have swung playoff games, knowing what kind of packages teams were rolling out like before the game.
Oh sure, yeah, absolutely.
And these are big games too, like conference championship, Super Bowl. That's pretty bad.
That's really big. I think if that would have happened now, they punish. I don't know why. I think just the culture changed in the NFL. Things have changed.
They would have gone berserk.
Oh my goodness! It would have been scorched earth on the Patriots. It would have been awful.
They would have killed Brady, like literally killed him.
Belichick would be suspended for a year for sure.
The one thing I wanted to say about this whole Deflategate thing is if you look at the final score, and I think some Patriots fans were even saying like, listen, the deflated ball didn't help LeGarrette Blount score like 2 touchdowns, which is true. But if you look at the halftime score, it was 17-7. So
and they poured it on.
So before the balls were deflated, when the balls were deflated, which was in the first half, the game was relatively close. one turnover, one fumble, one incompleted pass could have been the entire difference of that game. Instead of being 17-7 going into half, it could have been 14-10. One touchdown gets taken away. Indianapolis goes in with a better feeling, and they come out more fired and produce results in the second half.
You're talking about heart and feelings.
This is too
Skip Bayless over here.
Who knows?
Tom Brady is a liar and an alcoholic.
What I'm saying is they had the deflated balls. They had the competitive advantage when the game was the most competitive. And then the second half, they scored, they came out, and they blew them away. Who knows what could have happened?
Well, also, it's not just that game. It could have been other games in the past, like playoff games.
Oh, yeah. I'm not saying that it's just that game. But what I'm saying is that's something that I think even people are overlooking now because they just say, well, it didn't really matter in the Colts game. It might have mattered in the Colts game. The first half, whenever it was the most competitive.
I don't know. Whatever.
Last word on it was most competitive. They had a competitive advantage.
Last word on all this from all of you. Deflategate or Balgazi, and why?
Oh, just in the names?
Yes.
I didn't know Balgazi was an option. When did that come up?
Balgazi was an option.
Didn't a bunch of Americans die during Benghazi?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's terrible. I don't even know why we're...
It's not original. The bending iPhones was called Benghazi.
Benghazi.
Neither of these are original. I hate putting gate on any kind of scandal. It's so stupid and hacky.
We had 2 gates this month. That's too many in my opinion. Twirlgate. That was like a big tennis thing.
Twirlgate.
Oh,
the female tennis player that got asked to twirl.
That was called Twirlgate? That is ridiculous.
Oh, that's too much. There is an actual game, though.
I think the actual sports media should get like a 5-year term, and then you all get fired, and you get a fresh batch of people. More of these like gates, just clean house every 5 years, and you don't get like A-Rod for the next 15 years. Like gate, twirl gate.
Gate.
Oh,
I can't wait till something happens with a gate. That's gonna be the day. Some sort of scandal that involves an actual gate.
That'll win me back.
Oh, too much.
Call it gate.
Gate. Hashtag gate.
Gate. Oh man. But anyway, so there is an actual game that is being played on.
One last point: suspend Belichick for life.
The last word.
Way to steal it.
Makes the most sense.
So on Sunday there will be at 6:30 a kickoff that starts a Super Bowl. Super Bowl 49 will be played. It will be the New England Patriots, despite Change.org petitions that want to take them out of it and whatnot, and they will be going up against the Seattle Seahawks.
Has Change.org ever succeeded in that? Has any petition on Change.org ever succeeded? I see so many ridiculous petitions on there.
I actually, not to transition away from sports for a minute, but the Online News Association, they were there, and they had a little a session that they did on the success of Change.org, and there are some very successful petitions that have come out of Change.org. I encourage you to go look them up because I'm not going to get into them here, but there are some. So yeah, but this one won't be successful, despite the 60-some thousand signatures that it has obtained. But anyway, the game, it's going to be played. It's Seattle and it's New England, and what are we looking at in this game? What's the deciding factor? Is it going to be inflated balls, or is it going to be, I don't know, the defense? Is it Brady going to step up? What's this come down to?
I think the Patriots are a better team. I think the Seahawks. It's hard when you just look at the scores, but that Carolina game was competitive. Losing record Carolina. That game was competitive until Cam Newton threw a pick six that pretty much just ruined the whole game. And then the Packers game, which we can all, I don't know, we probably all agree that was the Packers. That was the Packers game to lose. I mean, the Packers had that game.
They obliged.
Right. And so, I mean, it's easy to say, oh, they're the returning champions. They're awesome. They have the advantage. But when you look at these playoffs for Seattle, I mean, it's been a rough road. I mean, they didn't struggle, but it was a close game for a little bit of that Carolina game, and of course you got the Packers. So the Patriots I think are the better team. They look strong. That run, I mean, they'll do whatever they need to do. They expose your weaknesses. They can Tom Brady can throw it on you, or it's the LeGarrette Blount show, which is, I can't believe I just said that, but that's the Patriots right there. It's crazy. They're a really amazing team.
I feel like we had this conversation like on the show last year.
What about Blount?
It was the same type of thing. That's in the playoffs last year. Why not? That was a little over a year. But like the whole idea that that Seattle wasn't all that impressive in the playoffs, like you could apply that to last year too. So they played the Saints in the divisional round, and that game was like close the whole way through. And then they played San Francisco, and they were staring a loss in the face until that famous interception. So like they played close games last year, and they didn't exactly like blow the doors off the teams, and then they just showed up in the Super Bowl and annihilated Denver. And I don't know, I feel the same way. I just don't like betting on older quarterbacks. And Manning was 38 last year. Brady's 37. I just feel like if he gets hit, it's going to get bad fast. Like you get older like that in a big time game. I don't know how much data we have on Super Bowl quarterbacks in their late 30s, but I'd imagine it's not great.
Yeah.
And Brady's sick.
And he has to use the regulation football now. That's just too much.
Mark, I'm in the same boat as you. In considering this game is almost exactly like last year to me. You look at it, and you got Seattle with their defense that is just they're doing enough to keep them in games, and they're imposing their will on opposing offenses. And I mean, if you say they struggled last week or 2 weeks ago against Green Bay, but still consider the fact that they were down, what was it, 22-7 at one point.
16-0.
16-0. So I mean, they still held what was a high-powered Packers offense to just 22 points in that game. And then the week prior, you got Carolina, who, despite the record and all that, they were still. It's an offense that can put up points. So it's their defense that is really. Has really been the story, and it's them keeping them in games. And if you go back just over the history of the last few Super Bowls and you look at it, that's ultimately what it comes down to. It's who can, what defense steps up, and it's usually the team with the better defense that ends up coming away with it. You go back to last year, obviously you got Seattle shut down Denver. The year before, Baltimore, did their thing against the 49ers. Say what you will about Kaepernick, he was only 10 games old at that point. But for me, it comes down to the defense, and I put so much more faith in Seattle's defense than I do New England's, despite having Brady and all that jazz and that passing offense. It's just hard to overlook what Seattle has done on defense and think that they just won't find a way to stop Tom Brady.
I feel like we're forgetting two important points here. One, last year prior to the Super Bowl, everybody said this, and I feel like it rang true the whole year, and the Super Bowl is really the only evidence that kind of points to otherwise. But Seattle's different at home with the 12th man and just the way that they do stuff to opposing teams. Like you said, Rob, they held a really good Green Bay team to 20-some points. So even though, they did do it in the Super Bowl last year, they held a really, really great, historically great Denver team to, nothing, basically. I'm a little bit concerned with that. And second, we're talking about Bill Belichick here as opposed to John Fox. And I don't know if you guys keep up with stuff, but John Fox recently got fired.
That was a mutual decision.
Year after
conscious uncoupling.
Year after bringing his team to the Super Bowl, getting embarrassed at the Super Bowl, not making adjustments, not doing anything, and he got embarrassed. So we're talking about Bill Belichick, who exploits, as Max said, exploits his team's weakness. They're going to figure out a way to win, and I got a really good feeling. I feel like, even though the spread doesn't necessarily suggest it, I feel like, New England's almost the underdog here because people are so hyped on Seattle. So.
I feel like it's the opposite. I feel like people are like all over New England, especially after the blowout in the conference title game. I'm frankly surprised the line is New England -1. I really think it should be Seattle -3 or 3.5.
That tells you something, Mark.
Yeah, it confuses me. It tells me nobody knows what they're talking about.
Yeah.
Everyone's wrong. Like, I'm genuinely surprised. In the futures, like before the conference title games, like Vegas had the potential Seahawks Patriots Super Bowl at Seattle -3. I just don't know what changed.
I mean, it was some weird stat, but it was like 8 of the last 9 Super Bowl underdogs covered or ended up just winning straight up, like not even needing the points. So I feel like this is the year that the favorite finally comes through and pulls through. So,
do you think they can just erase 10 years of, I don't want to call it failure, but not winning the Super Bowl? I mean, this is their third appearance in the last 10 years. Their last win coming against some game that I don't want to get into right now, but. I know those 2 losses in the Super Bowl were against a team that plays a good 2 hours south of them, but I don't know. It's like bitter. I know you got Brady and Belichick that are like chomping at the bit to get back on top, and I'm sure there's some bitterness there. And this whole scandal, whatever you want to call it, the past week is sort of added more fuel to that fire for them to want to be able to just motivate themselves, use it as tack board material. But I don't know. Seattle was there just last year, and they know what this is like. They have so many guys on that roster that know how to prepare going into this week. They know what they're up against. What they were going to go into on media day. What practices like this week, and being basically fresh off of that, and they also, you got to consider that they have like some sort of swagger going into this game. I don't want to say they'll get cocky. You could say that they're coming into it a little lighter than they were last year, and not taking it as seriously. But I don't know. I'm talking myself in circles, and I just
well, that's the thing. Everything you're saying is a valid point. Like it contradicts each other, but it's still a valid point.
That sort of has been my feeling on the game in general. I know I basically said that I like Seattle's defense, but I've been talking myself in circles around this game this entire week because I think it's going to be a coin flip. I don't think it's going to be a blowout one way or the other, and I know I feel like a lot of people think it's going to be that way, and it's going to be a surprise. People are very hard on Seattle or hard on New England, saying that one team's going to blow out the other. And I think it's just because the memory of last year is so fresh. And people saw what happened, but I don't know. I think it's going to be a great game, and it's just hard to call. I mean, it's going to come down to so few things. Like obviously mistakes, who holds on to the ball better. If they're inflated properly, I got to imagine it'll be pretty similar. But and then you look at. I was just looking at stats for Marshawn Lynch, who obviously is going to be a big key to the game. How many tackles he can break and whatnot. But the Patriots, Lynch is like sort of what makes that offense go is when you see him rumble for 20, 30, 40 yards and just bust out. The Patriots have only given up 2 plays all year of 40 yards or more on the ground, which is pretty ridiculous. That's best in the league by a long shot. The next closest team, the Packers, were 6. I think the Packers and Vikings they only gave up 6. But, I mean, they're a tough defense to run on, which if that in turn forces Wilson to throw the ball, you kind of saw what he did against the Packers. I know he had that beautiful throw in overtime, but I lose confidence if it comes down to going on Wilson, putting up Wilson against Brady.
And that was against a bad defense, too. This Packers defense isn't anything special. So while you were talking about Seattle's running game against the Patriots, I was thinking about it today. It is shocking what Marshawn Lynch has done this year. Like, before the season started, we were like, it's getting old, not going to have anywhere near the output as he had last year. This guy's good. This guy's really good. Like, I did not see that coming. I never thought he was that good, like, great to begin with.
Yeah.
Like he's an explosive runner and a really powerful back, but man, he's good.
I think he's got flashes of greatness, and I feel like that's almost what people see because Pat, shout out to Pat. How's it going, Pat? Pat had him on the team, and there was weeks whenever he would just put up single digits fantasy-wise, and weird things were getting pulled from the game and, replaced. So there was something going on early on. But then, he does have flashes like you saw last week where he'll just drag like 3 or 4 people, and get a 20-yard or so.
If you want to go, I know I mentioned just talking about Brady going up against Wilson. There's a pretty interesting line on CBS. They sort of threw out the 5 key stats to look at for this game. Them under pressure, how they perform, it's pretty crazy. So you had regular season and playoffs. If you look at the total number of dropbacks in which they faced pressure, so the other team either hit them, sacked them, whatever. Brady faced 197 dropbacks like that. Wilson 273. Which meant in terms of their total dropbacks, Wilson was under pressure 45% of the time, Brady 28% of the time. And accuracy, Wilson was actually a little bit better under pressure. It was 67% completion percentage to Brady's 61. And Brady actually, interceptions threw up 7 picks under pressure. Wilson did just 4. And that's, you got to, again, consider how many more times Wilson was almost under pressure about 70 more times this year. So I don't know. If it comes down to pressure, what team do you think, when you look at that, who gets pressure better? Do you guys think it comes down to that?
By a lot.
Yeah.
That's the main reason
it comes down to that?
Yes. One quarterback is younger, more mobile, and seems to handle pressure better. The other quarterback is older and may not be able to take as many hits.
Yeah, it is hard to pressure Russell Wilson. I mean, he's never pressured. He just rolls out and he's quick and nobody pressures Russell Wilson.
Oh,
this is going to sound biased and unfair, but I'm going to say it anyway. I just never really bought into what New England has done this year. And it's not really like on them. It's just on the AFC in general. I was never really all that impressed by the AFC. If you look at most of the playoffs teams in there, they looked superficially they looked good. Like Cincinnati was 11-5, the Steelers were 11-5, like Baltimore's 10-6. All those teams had like fatal flaws. Like Cincinnati was a complete non-factor in the playoffs, and you knew that going in. Like nobody was saying that Cincinnati could make the Super Bowl. Like, the Steelers were just up and down. Baltimore was occasionally terrible, but they got their act together in the playoffs. New England's season came down to matching up against Denver. That was the whole thing. Like we talked about it all year, New England versus Denver. And when it came down to crunch time, Manning got hurt, and Denver bowed out to a team that, like, I know Indy played better and they were better coached, but they were definitely not better than Denver. So I just feel like they weren't like handed a trip to the Super Bowl, but things broke pretty well for them in terms of playoff matchups. And I like the NFC better. I feel like there's better teams, even in like the NFC East or in the NFC West. If you look at like the type of like Arizona was really good, and then they fell apart because of QB play. But there were some like heavyweights over there. Like Dallas was a serious Super Bowl contender. So I don't know. I guess that's not really too fair because like, Seattle was gifted a trip to the Super Bowl. But that's beside the point.
Yeah.
Oh man, I don't know.
Nobody else gets that feeling though. The AFC was weird this year.
Yeah, the AFC felt way weaker than normal, for sure.
The NFC was pretty weak too. You got the entire NFC South in there.
But the thing with the NFC is that the bottom is terrible. The bottom of the NFC is terrible. The top is exceptional.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
I'd say you could take the top. I think the top 3 or 4 teams in the NFC would probably be, over the AFC teams, maybe the New England, but that's about it. I mean, you see with the AFC Championship game, the Colts were the second best team in the AFC this year.
Yeah.
That's pretty bad.
Yeah.
The one thing I would just say is, and this is kind of going to Mark's point, is when New England does face that like stereotypical good defense, Bills, Jets, earlier on or later on the season. I mean, they haven't put up stellar numbers. So they beat the Jets by 1 point in Week 16, lost to the Bills. When they played the Packers, which don't have a great defense, barely beat them too. So it is something to be said that whenever they're playing against these high offensive teams, they put up the points, but whenever they play against the defensive powerhouses, they struggle a little bit. So it's going to be an interesting match.
I'd argue that's what sort of was their undoing in the last 2 Super Bowls.
Yeah.
The Giants. The Giants. Say what you will about it. Everyone has their opinions on Eli Manning. That Super Bowl came down to a defense that smothered that offense.
Absolutely.
On both occasions. So, and this Seattle defense is historic.
Yeah.
If you ask me, they don't. You think of the Ravens of the early 2000s and even their last Super Bowl run. This Seattle defense is like far and beyond better, in my opinion, in every phase of the defense, whether it's the line, their linebackers, their corner coverage, and safety play. It's just I don't think we've ever seen. We haven't seen anything like it. I know we got a couple Steeler fans here that could talk about their history, but this one's up there, and I keep coming back to that. So I think if when we get into picks, it's going to come back down to that for me, and it just seems like Seattle. I don't know.
Yeah. You're not wrong. That's the thing. I mean, everything you're saying is correct. But then you could also make equal points for New England, and how they're always there. You say that Seattle, because they were there last year. Well, New England's been there 6 times, and
7. They're 3 and 4. 3 and 4 in the playoffs, or 3 and 4 in their Super Bowls, and Seattle is 1 and 1. So
one thing about New England that I don't feel like I factor in enough. Their defense is fairly good. Like, it's young and good. And like whenever I think like New England just got there, whenever I want to just say like New England just got there because that's how the conference broke, which I tried to say earlier, and it's not great to say. Like, I got the feeling. Well, no, the sense I got was they got there because they knew how to get there. Like, you think like the '98 Bulls, like the Eastern Conference NBA wasn't like strong particularly. And they gutted out a couple tough playoff games, and they got into the finals because that's what they knew how to do. But that narrative isn't totally true because maybe on offense they're a little older, and like Brady's, no matter how optimistic you are, he only has a couple more years left. Their defense is young and good, so that's like the big X factor for me.
All right, let's get into it. Let's make the picks. So Seth, you clearly are, you've locked up the postseason picks in terms of rankings here. So.
Right here, baby.
6 and 2 outdoes Max and me. We're 4 and 4.
Yep.
And Mark. Sorry, Mark.
To be fair, though, I made those last 2 picks to try to come back and win.
You did. You did say that, but
I fell on my sword, and I should have won that first one.
It didn't pan out.
Send me the link to prove it, okay?
Yep.
So,
well, you should already know then. I saw the tape. It's on.
So what's it down to? Let's make these official.
Patriots, baby. I think it's by 10 points. I don't think it's close. I think it's like a Green Bay Steelers game for 2012. I think it was 2012.
Yeah, it was.
It wasn't good.
Yeah.
We only lost by like 6 points, but if you watched that game, we could have lost by like 30. It was not close, so that's what I'm thinking.
Max, you're with him?
I'm with him. I bet on Belichick when I get the chance, and this year I'm betting with Seth Hof. Man, he knows something we don't.
Riding his coattails.
Hey, come on, plenty of room.
Picks.
Hello there, Mark. Would you like a ticket to the bandwagon?
Talk to me in the second half of the Super Bowl. I'll take Seattle. I think it'll be a little closer than I've been.
Give us a score. Rob, can you recreate 2008? Writing it on the wall? We have proof?
I know. That's one of my proudest moments as a.
It was amazing.
Here. That was unreal.
I think it's 30-24. And I think there's like a big turnover late in the game as New England is like driving to try to win the game.
Does Russell Wilson get carted off the field in this game also?
Oh God. Oh no. Well, I'll go with talking in circles here, but going with Seattle. I'm just gonna make it official, and we'll say it's
House divided.
28-24.
A house divided.
Yeah. So that's what it is.
I'm gonna go 45-38. High scoring affair.
Ooh.
New England.
I was 28-24. Mark, you were 30-24.
Yeah.
And Seth, what did you just say?
45-38. Pats. Go Pats.
Which leaves Max your score at?
Oh Lord, 35.
Whoa.
35. What? Whoa. What?
35.
35 to 18. No, 17.
No, there's gonna be 17.
17. 35-17. All right.
You're
Well,
gonna
hit ourselves.
That was slightly embarrassing.
You're gonna personally get punched in the face by Richard Sherman if he watches this podcast.
There's no if about it.
Well, if you made it this far, we appreciate it, and because of that fact, we're gonna give you some bonus coverage. One of the great things about this time of year is all of the prop bets that pop up. What's that? What was that?
I thought we were guessing what are good times about this year.
No. We're gonna. This is the Super Bowl show, Seth.
Yeah, sorry.
So we're gonna dive into some prop bets, and if you wanna, we'll have this on tape. So if you wanna put some cash down on it, and we'll have a video evidence of what's going on here, and we can refer to it at some time in the future if you want to double check everything. But we'll run through some prop bets. There's some great ones on the game.
I'm just reading these now. They're funny.
But I want to go with the entertainment odds and ends because those always seem to be the best and where most of the fun happens. So I'll keep track of these. And see how we do. I know we're coming back next week to do a little bit of a fantasy preview.
Way too early.
A way too early preview, but we'll follow up on the prop bets then too.
Before you go down the line, though, let's talk about the real defending champion juggernaut that's going to be featured in Sunday's game, and it goes by the name of NFC picking the coin toss. They're ridiculous.
The coin toss. Oh man,
NFC has won the coin toss 15 out of the last 17 years.
Who has?
That's amazing.
NFC.
NFC has. Well, you know what's crazy though, is that this. I went and tallied it up today. Last year, 48 Super Bowls have happened, obviously. So last year,
the greatest year ever.
All in 1 year happened. All in 1 year, it all happened. Actually, in one weekend, if you watch it in 30 minutes, each game only lasted 30 minutes on the NFL Network. But so last year's coin toss, where I was getting at was last year's coin toss was I think tails, which was like the first tails in 6 years. But it's split. It's split perfectly evenly, 24 heads and 24 tails over 48 years. So that tie will be broken. And another interesting tidbit of related to the coin flip is that the result of the coin flip, whoever won the coin toss, they're officially 24-24 over 48 years of games. So just wacky stuff happening.
So the point is it's a waste of time.
Bets. It is. It really is. So it's literally the toss of a coin on some of these prop bets. And my mantra is tails never fails, but that hasn't been the case of late. So
well, mine is heads always win. So I don't know if this is wrong.
so let's start right there. So Mark, you got heads. I'm taking tails.
I'm going with La Cabeza. For our Spanish viewers out there.
Go ahead.
Heads.
Heads.
3 heads.
Is heads. So 3 heads. 3 heads and a tail. That's a weird looking animal. But Oh man, one of
Waiting all your life to make that.
Oh, we'll be right back, folks.
We lost Rob.
Yeah.
someone take over.
And suddenly we've all aged 20 years.
Dad jokes.
Dad jokes.
Hour.
Oh man. Anyway, so moving on. The national anthem is a pretty popular one. Idina Menzel is singing, or
Who's that?
Adele Dazeem.
Adele Dazeem.
Adele Dazeem. So wickedly talented.
Wickedly talented.
What is this Brazil?
So the over under they give on the national anthem is 2 minutes and 1 second. I'm losing it. I don't know why.
Oh no.
We've lost our host.
That is rails.
I've been waiting all my whole life for this one.
Definition of professionalism over in that panel.
Analysts has become the host now. Moving on. Moving on to the national anthem.
I'm gonna go with a push.
A push. It finishes right on the dot.
No, I'll go under.
No.
It's always under.
Going under.
It's always under?
No, he's wrong. He's
It is.
No.
It's always
no,
over.
no, it's not actually. It's
Yeah,
always under. It's
Everyone
always
always
under.
thinks it's always over.
But an interesting thing, I actually did some analysis because she
That's
has
not welcome on this show.
she has 2 prior performances of national anthems at pretty large events. So she did the Patriots and Giants game, the season finale when the Patriots ended up going 16-0. She did the national anthem there. It went 1 minute and 40 seconds. And then she actually did the All-Star game this year, MLB All-Star game, and went exactly 2 minutes. So, she's getting she's stretching out her performance with age. She's gotten 6 months older since the last time she did this. This is
I like it.
We analyzed she had. So the thing is though, in her All-Star game performance, she had some long runs, extended some notes, did a little pausing in between some verses. Could definitely be cleaned up for sure, and be a shorter performance. But it's it's that moment. She's got the spotlight on her. And
Rob, let it go. Make a pick.
Let's throw in a "Let It Go" in there, and
oh boy.
Enough of this hot anthem talk.
Yeah. Let it go. Let it go.
So I'm gonna take the over.
We don't want to hear you talk anymore.
I pulled myself together, and we got this now. So
Over.
There it is. I'm taking the over. Is everyone over?
I'm over.
Over.
Mark.
Over this conversation. No.
4 overs. That's a weird looking animal.
No. I'm under. I don't know how that got messed up. I'm under.
That happened. Anyway, so one other related prop to the national anthem is whether she omits or forgets at least one word.
Yes.
No way.
Are you an odd shark?
Not a chance.
Yes.
Not a chance. She's a consummate professional.
Yeah, I'm completely with you. I say no chance
This
there.
isn't Christina Aguilera.
I know.
Come on.
Omit one word. What's everyone else picking?
Yes. I'm picking yes. One word.
Plus, because.
Oh,
no,
wait.
It wasn't Christina Aguilera last year, was it?
No,
Yeah,
it
she
was
screwed up.
that. God, she was like a old pop star.
There was like
Keys?
Jordan Sparks
No.
or something.
Jordan Sparks.
No, it was a name no one's gonna remember.
Well, anyway, that Christina Aguilera thing happened in the social media age. So now whoever performs is like super
Renee
vigilant.
Fleming.
But it's one word. You could forget the.
Yeah. Oh, so,
Yes.
yeah. You can.
No,
you can
she doesn't forget one. She doesn't love one word. No.
Oh, she was Renee.
Wow,
Fleming.
no is a heavy favorite. Wow.
Yeah.
I'm going yes.
Because it's so standard. It's a standard song, unless you forget.
Well, no, it's a complicated, long song. It's not.
Well,
that's all like she's singing "Happy Birthday." There's a lot of words.
Right.
There are a bunch of words, but everyone follows the same script. What they do with that script.
I'm changing my vote. No, she won't forget anything.
Ooh.
So 1 yes and 3 no's. All right. The Gatorade color. This is another popular one.
Yeah,
This is clear. It's always
no,
water.
it's not. No, it's not. Because last year, if you'll remember, the Seahawks won, and they dumped orange Gatorade on Pete Carroll.
Oh, the color, that's right.
So there's 6 options. You get orange, yellow, green, red, blue, or clear water.
I don't see the world in colors, Rob.
Oh, I'm sorry. For all you colorblind folks out there, I apologize for this. And Max, being Mr. D&I.
Clear water as an option. I didn't know Ned Flanders. Well, clear the whole hornet's nest.
Listen, okay.
So I did analysis on this as well, by the way. And so last year the Seahawks, they used orange. The Patriots, the last time they did win the Super Bowl, they dumped clear water.
Exactly.
So you can immediately knock it down to 2 options, if you ask me, because I don't think when teams get on their Gatorade kicks or whatever they put on the sideline, I think they stick with it. So orange or clear.
Patriots are going to win, and Bill Belichick has determined that color is obsolete in terms of hydration.
It's frivolous.
Is frivolous, exactly. That's why standard clear is the way to go.
Just like sleeves on a hoodie and cuffs on the sweatpants.
I have no sympathy. No sympathy.
Why would we tell
Mr.
them
I don't
Gatorade?
see color. I don't see the world in color. What are you taking?
I always go blue because that's my favorite Gatorade, but it's never blue.
No.
It's
never blue.
I've seen yellow before, but never blue.
I never see blue. I could never play in the NFL because they never had the blue Gatorade. I couldn't take it. So
Can I change my answer to after the Patriots win, they don't even dump it on him?
Oh yeah, that's true. They won't dunk him.
Yeah,
they will. Oh man,
Yeah, they will.
Whoever dunks him, you're out of a job.
To get cut.
Enjoy riding the pine for the next season.
Whoever dumps him is going to take the fall for Deflategate.
Oh man.
All right, sorry.
So color, Max, you say he's not getting dumped on?
No, I will. I'll go with orange. I hate it, but I'll go with orange.
I like it.
And Mark.
In my mind, I really thought it was going to be purple, but that's not a listed option. So
Frost. There's no Gatorade Frost? No.
Secondary colors are an option, I guess. So we go with...
That's weird, isn't it?
Red.
You walk into a store, and there's like
Red.
50 different kinds of Gatorade. And then in the coolers, there's only like 3.
Yeah. Changing it. Yellow. I want the yellow.
Yellow. All right.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah, it is.
What's weird again?
It's there. You walk into a store and there's like 50 different flavors of Gatorade, but then in the big industrial size for professional sports, you only get like 3 flavors.
Huh. This one, okay.
Nobody cares. Come on.
Not at all. This one I think is the easiest call of the day. Over under 2.5 mentions of deflated footballs.
I don't
my
think they
God.
mentioned it
2.5?
at all. 0.
2.5.
2.5?
2.5.
No. Don't forget, the NFL has like some input into like how the broadcast goes.
Yeah.
I know they do, but 2.5.
Oh my
Under.
God, over
This
by
is-
a mile.
This
No.
is. Can I tell you why it's going to be so far over? It's
Why?
NBC first of all, and you have Al Michaels in a booth with Chris Collinsworth, a former receiver. I'm sure they have some segment pre-lined up where Collinsworth is going to talk about himself when he was in the league and how he loved to have the football just a little bit deflated. So
That means that they have to
grab
say
it.
it 3 times.
Yeah,
3
two and a half.
I'll give
The
you
over
one.
under should be, it should be 10.
I'll give you once, but twice. It's not very likely. They're gonna probably bring it up, and you're right, Rob. They're gonna analyze how it's done, and then they're not gonna talk about it. That's the same thing with whenever they talked about Manning. Whenever it was Manning, like how many times Peyton or whatever, Eli
Last year it was Omaha. How many times they would say Omaha in the broadcast booth?
But wait a minute. Is it the actual word?
Yeah,
deflate?
it's the actual word of deflate, not like bringing up the
Right.
subject.
Yeah. It'll be over.
It's gonna be
So
far.
the deflate, deflation, deflated, any
Correct.
of those count. Yeah.
Correct.
I'm gonna say 0.
0.
You're crazy. This
Zero
is madness.
Mark's got a better chance of winning than you two, Jay Bronies.
Oh boy.
That's for true.
This one's for all the marbles. This one should be worth 10 points.
A point for every mention of deflate.
Yeah.
What else do we have here? How many times will Giselle Bundchen be shown on TV? And that is set at over under 1.5.
Honestly, I don't remember her
Under.
being shown at all the last time they were in the Super Bowl.
I don't
All right.
know.
Here's a serious question: is she gonna be at the Super Bowl?
Yes.
Yeah.
She's a bigger.
She was there last
she's a
time.
bigger star than Brady. She was. Okay.
Yeah, she was. Remember she got heckled like on the way out, and then she said like, "My husband can't throw and catch the ball."
That's right. That's right.
Is this one unders across the board?
Under.
All right. Yeah. Whatever.
Come on, Mark. Be a man.
Well, that's
I
not
go with
fair.
under.
I heard the other votes. I don't want to vote differently just because I have all the info.
Go against the grain, Mark.
Nah. Well, there's time for this though.
All right.
All right. Not over under. Which region's going to have the higher Nielsen rating? Boston or Seattle? Boston is the favorite.
Boston.
Well, wait.
Yeah.
What's the population difference between these two cities?
Large.
Oh,
for you.
yeah.
Sure.
Nerd City. Okay. Asking nerd questions.
This is a sports cast. Get out of here.
This is Boston across the board?
Boston.
Boston.
I thought you were calling people from Seattle nerds, and I couldn't figure out why.
I didn't. That's what I was wondering too. That's what I thought you were saying.
Microsoft is there. All right, here's another over-under. How many viewers will the game have? And they have it set at 113 million.
I have no concept if that's a good number or not.
Over. It's always the over.
172.
Here's something to consider. I did go back. I did look at the history of Nielsen ratings in the Super Bowl. So last year's was the highest ever, and it was 111.5 million. That was up from 108.5 million for the Baltimore-San Fran game. But that year, the Baltimore and San Fran game was down from Steelers and Packers were the year before, which was 100. That was 111.3. So 3 of the last 4 years have been in the 111.x range. So it's gone up, but ever so slightly, with the exception of that dip for 1 year. So do you think it bumps over 2 million viewers?
Sure.
Yes.
No.
All right.
Okay.
We ain't broadcasters. We don't know.
I'm going with under. Steph, you're going with under.
God, I've read and been interested in Nielsen ratings for a long time, and it's shocking how little I know about how Nielsen ratings work. It
Little
doesn't.
boxes
It's
on top of a TV.
I just know
or
the numbers and what's a good number and what's a really good number and what's not a good number, but
But wait a minute. What if all the Nielsen boxes are in Seattle and not in Boston?
I think they make sure they keep them it's
Oh, so the fix is in.
I think this is all.
Fix is in.
Mark. That's a complete guess. I don't know if that's really how it works or not.
I think you gotta. Haven't they started tracking streaming?
No. Well, yeah, streaming, yeah, but I think, yeah, they do.
Who gives a crap? Move on to real sports.
I was gonna try to answer you and give a good answer, but again, I would just be guessing. I have no clue.
Only people that stream are illegal immigrants.
There's a real chance that there's no such thing as Nielsen ratings, and it's just all
Yeah.
a
It's
bunch
a lie.
of garbage,
It's a
and they
big
just kind of say a number that sounds about right.
I know it's a bunch of rubbish because then there's like it's a really super small percentage of actual TVs. Like, have you ever known anyone who had a Nielsen box?
No.
Yes.
Never.
Yeah,
Okay, so
no,
three
you
of
didn't.
us.
No, you didn't.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I
Did you ever see the Nielsen box?
Yes, I did. It was a neighbor.
Wow.
I
So
had
that's one out of three of us have ever met or heard of someone who had one.
I had an illegal black box whenever I was younger.
Pay-per-view boxes. You got
Cable,
free
yeah.
Back
Illegal.
when you could steal
sold
cable.
pay-per-views.
Yeah, stealing. It was great.
WWE
Yeah.
Royal Rumble on
Oh,
Sex TV. That's people went over.
Nice
Nope.
job to your city for doing the right thing and
Booing?
getting that guy out of the building.
I know.
I watched it. He deserved it.
What
Oh,
happened?
what an awesome Royal Rumble that was. I did watch. I swiped it offline just to see the Royal Rumble, and Bubba Ray Dudley, after 10 years at it, for anyone that followed wrestling, he was like big into ECW, and
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
he came back to the Royal Rumble. He was in the Royal Rumble.
Was his
Yeah.
brother Devon there?
No,
No.
he wasn't. People started chanting for Devon, and Devon did not come out. But he did do a 3D, the 3D bomb, where he killed the guy, and started a TLC chant or tables chant.
Dude,
So now the Royal Rumble will never again be held in Pittsburgh or Philadelphia because they booed the last two winners.
why? What happened in Pittsburgh? We booed him.
Last year they booed Dave Bautista out of the building.
That's right. Yeah.
It was amazing. They even had The Rock come out and try to save the guy from getting attacked, and that didn't help. Everyone
this is like a
cheered that
big
The Rock
deal.
was
The guy that won was The Rock's cousin, and they brought him out to stop the boos, and the crowd went eh, and then right back to booing.
It is great. I've never seen a backlash quite like this. It's pretty.
It's amazing. It's awesome.
Yeah.
So we're at 8. I want to make one so we have, just in case of ties, or I don't know. Having 9 sounds like a good number. So let's end it with.
Before you do that, I'll say one that we're not going to vote on, and it's the biggest. It's the biggest lock. This is the safest prop I've ever seen in my life. Will Al Michaels refer to the point spread, total, odds on who wins the game, or any prop bet? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes, a million times yes. He always does it. That's the safest bet in the world.
Yes.
And it's actually
it's
plus 200 for yes, which is shocking. He always talks about gambling. He loves gambling.
Yeah, he does.
Crazy.
That's all I have to say about
So, all right, good to know. Make a little money here if you made it 50 minutes into the show.
Yeah.
50, this is like an hour and 50.
This is an hour. Yeah, we're at an hour now. So this is too much. So for those who will not be watching, the last one we're going to end on, will Marshawn Lynch grab his crotch in the game?
That's great because all right, you're betting that he does something great, which means he only does it when he scores touchdowns.
Right.
And
So you're
it's usually
you're
big.
banking on the fact that he's going to score a touchdown.
Wait, he
And I'm
always
sure he's
grabs
scoring
his
a touchdown.
crotch when he scores?
No, he's not going to grab his crotch in like a 1-yard rush.
Well, no,
Like, oh my God.
the prop is after he scores a touchdown. It's not.
It would be.
It's not
awesome.
like his crotch itches or something like that.
It would be fantastic if he ran just a 1-yard or like a half a yard run up the gut for a touchdown, and then dropped to his knees and grabbed both his crotch with both hands.
Just a little socket.
Went for all of it.
Little DX. So I'm going to go with yes.
There should be a follow-up question to this.
No.
If he does it, what's the fine?
Well, there is another prop bet that was, does Marshawn Lynch get fined by the NFL for any incident on media day? And that's
that
gonna
one.
happen.
Yes.
Should have
Yes.
taken
We would have
that.
made some money. We would have made 4 times our money.
Yeah.
So
But, man, that fine will be big if if he does it at the Super Bowl.
Yeah, well,
That'd be massive.
I don't think he cares. I don't.
I think he cares.
He's not gonna do it.
I don't think he'll do it either.
Mm-mm.
I think he's dumb, but I don't think he's that dumb.
Mark?
No chance.
No chance. All right, I'm taking the bet, and I'm saying yes. So that's it. We end on the crotch grab. So how do we feel about that?
We've spent
I'm
too much
grabbing
time on
Yeah,
Marshawn Lynch's crotch.
got
Okay.
No one got this
Yeah.
far. We talked about 3-headed, one-tailed animals and
Nielsen boxes.
Nielsen boxes, dissected national anthems, and Deflated Footballs.
Out of material for the year.
Oh,
Ended
man.
on a high note.
We did. So I guess we have one more week. One more week. We're done with regular football, but next week we're already looking ahead to next year. So that's going to be it. Well,
cool.
It's been great. So thanks. If you made it this far, thanks for
Absolutely.
Thanks for wasting your time, because I clearly would not have. So more power to you. So.